When I first started telling people I was separating or separated and divorced, people would always say like, "Oh, did he hit you? Did he abuse you?" Bitch, no. I didn't go through that. Now, some people do. For me, it was a literal like marriage death by a thousand cuts. It was small things every single day over the course of years that led to separating and divorcing. Now, there were a couple of big things, but those small things over the years, oh my gosh. And a lot of us have like a mix of all these things. I wanted to talk about some of the things that I experienced that people may not even really think are a big deal, but they definitely added up. So one of them was I would always ask my ex to like, before we go to bed, like, hey, are the doors locked? He would get so fucking mad at me when I would ask that question because he didn't want to get up to go check the doors. Mind you, military man. So he was deployed a lot. So I always had to be hyper vigilant for months on end, for years, at the most 8 months, doing things on my own. So having that relief of like, oh, he's home, he can make sure we're safe, but then not having that, fucking insane for years. Um, then I just eventually stopped asking, right? I also stopped asking him to fix things or to put things together because when he would do that, he would have an attitude. So it would either break or it wouldn't be put together correctly and break later on. So once again, I stopped asking, made me stronger, whatever, made me figure it out. But once again, I shouldn't have had to be strong in that way. I should have been able to trust. I planned all of our family trips, all of our dates, probably 98 to 99% of our dates I planned. He would fly across the country. He would drive wherever he needed to drive for someone's retirement, for someone's event. But to take me down the road on a date, couldn't do that shit. Um, and all the household management, all the household finances, I did all those things. There's so many things, so many small cuts, so many injuries. Oh my gosh, the horrible dates. Like I remember I couldn't figure out why when he planned a date, why it just always wasn't like something would happen all the time, random shit. And I realized because he didn't have intention in planning anything for me. Everything was like last minute. Everything was like a check in the box. And I always left our dates just feeling so unfulfilled, feeling so unloved. It was ridiculous. I remember we were watching a movie, I think The Best Man Holiday, and they were like, in a beautiful island, and I forget it's Tay Diggs and Sanaa Lathan's character. And she was like about to do something really sexy for him because they were relaxed, right? They were on vacation. And I remember saying to him, oh, I wonder what I would do if we were, together on an island. Because mind you, we never, ever went on a vacation together by ourselves, ever. I would have had to plan it, and I didn't want to do that. And I remember he got so angry with me. And he was like, oh my God, like we don't have the money, we don't have this and that, bitch. We had three incomes, and I had two of them incomes as a therapist and working full time. And I'm also a professor. So technically four incomes, including his own. But I remember going like, damn, like I can't even ask for anything. You know what I'm saying? So it was a thousand cuts, as so many of us women have went through. And I want all of us to share our stories because there are women who are sitting in marriages dying 100 times a day because of these small cuts every single day. May not be big things to some people, but that shit adds up. And I'm saying that for any woman who is navigating this space, who are sitting in a marriage or difficult relationship, and they're just like, I feel off. Something doesn't feel right. Like, what is going on, bitch? It's a thousand cuts that you are receiving day in and day out. And that is hard to deal with.
I'm so sorry, but this shit is extremely accurate. They said I saw a quote that said marriage gives even the poorest man an opportunity to own a slave, and I haven't been the same since. This shit is so fucking accurate. When you think about it, when a woman becomes married to a man, the first thing she's expected to do is to submit to him, to drop her name and take on his. He becomes the head of the household. His say becomes the last word. Any children they produce go up under his lineage. If he has a mission, if he has a vision, if he has a goal, her visions, her missions, her goals either are eliminated completely or they become secondary, and she has to prioritize his mission and goals as his helpmeet. So whatever that looks like, many women have quit their job and quit their career so that they can rear the children, so that the man can go ahead and keep his career. The list goes on of the ways that women play the back burner or the servant to the man. What's interesting is that typically, in order to get this level of power, a man has to work himself up to a great stature. He has to become rich and purchase a personal chef, purchase a maid, purchase a babysitter, purchase a massage therapist, purchase a prostitute. But when a man gets married, it's like a 6-in-1 combo. All he has to do is get married, and he instantly gets someone who will submit to him, hang on to his every word, allow his word to be the final say, clean behind him, cook for him, fuck him whenever he wants it. If he wants a sandwich at 3 o'clock in the morning and it's her job to get up and go do it, and this nigga could be poor as fuck. He doesn't have to be talented. He doesn't have to be ambitious. He doesn't have to be a CEO. He doesn't have to be a king. All he has to do is have a penis and testicles, and marriage instantly grants him a servant. So yes, patriarchy benefits the man more than it benefits the woman. This is also why women tend to lose years off of our life expectancy when we marry men. But when they get married, they gain. Women, our personal income tends to drop after marriage, whereas men, their income increases when they're married. Their social status increases after marriage. And I think that the list goes on of ways that the patriarchy benefits from marriage. This is why men are constantly shaming and pressuring women into marriage. If marriage itself was just so great for a woman, then you wouldn't have to constantly make a woman feel like she's a whore if she's not married. Marriage should just speak for itself. It should just be attractive to women naturally. You shouldn't have to use any type of manipulation to, you're going to go to hell if you have sex outside of marriage. No one wants a ran through woman. Your body count has to be low, blah, 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 blah. You don't have a ring on your finger. No man has chose you. You shouldn't have to do all of that if marriage itself is the prize. Women should just be naturally attracted to it and naturally gravitate to it. There should not have to be any manipulation, shame tactics, or fear mongering to get women to sign up for it.
When I first started sharing my divorce story, you know how badly I wanted to protect my ex? Do you know how badly I didn't want to tell the truth of what I went through? And I think so many of us women who were married or divorced or whatever, even during the marriage, a part of our job was protecting their image, knowing deep down inside and in the space of intimacy, we weren't getting the good guy that everyone else was receiving. We were getting their emotional inattentiveness, some of us the emotional abuse, the emotional outbursts, stonewalling, silent treatment, not being helped, not being cared for, not being loved appropriately, and we were protecting their image. And for me, telling my story has been the best thing for me, because I realized that everything I was doing for so many years of being married was making everything softer for him and not for myself. And once I had that shift, I was like, I gotta tell my truth. And to see so many other women now speaking up on their truth, and even in my comments, seeing some women who still struggle with accepting not only what they are navigating, what they experience, but just expressing what they navigated and experienced, right? I remember when I started telling friends what I went through in my marriage, they were fucking shocked. They were shocked. I didn't tell them because partly I felt embarrassed. I felt embarrassed because deep down inside I knew that treatment was wrong. But to get validated by them when I would share my experiences was everything, and released me from this hold of protecting his image. Any woman that is married or divorcing, I want you to question yourself and if you are protecting his image. A lot of us do it for the kids, right? Because for me, my whole thing is, you know, I just want whatever, I'm not my children's father. Whatever experience they have with their father is their experience with their father. I think he's a good father, and that's fine, But in our marriage, there are reasons why we divorced, but I recognize how I protected his image, how I covered him, and you gotta release that shit. Don't make it softer for him. Make the landing softer for yourself. And speak your truth, bitch.
I recently did a video asking divorced women what they can do now that they couldn't do when they were married. Here are some of the most common answers, starting with the ability to breathe and relax, not walk on eggshells, foster animals, have animals, feel good about themselves, have a clean house, park in the garage, decorate their house however they wanted. One woman, she even wallpapered her fridge. Now, sadly, there was a flip side to the comments. A lot of women mentioned feeling safe getting undressed, showering, or being naked. Multiple women said bending over without being groped, and lots of others mentioned feeling safe while sleeping. Now, when I looked at all of the comments together, a major underlying theme was safety and autonomy. Emotional safety, physical safety, and autonomy for truly simple things. All of the answers confirmed why so many women are choosing divorce or to be single. But it's still mind-boggling to me that women have to get divorced or stay single to enjoy these simple things like safety.
I can't wait till we get to the time period where, and I hope it's in my lifetime, we'll laugh with our girls and be like, can you believe we used to marry men? Can you believe we used to take their last name? Can you believe we used to think they would protect and provide? Yeah, I can't wait for that.
But it literally is cheaper to live alone than go 50-50 with a man, because 50-50 doesn't exist. You think half the expenses have been cut out, and that might be so in terms of rent, but everything else doubles. So if I'm an average working person renting a 1-bedroom apartment and living with a man who weighs double what I do, consumes double what I do, sweats triple what I do, adding not only time but also expenses to the washing, cooking, and cleaning, how is it not cheaper and easier for me to rent that same 1-bedroom apartment and have all that space to myself and use that time that I could have spent going 50-50 cleaning up after this man, when I can be spending it on enriching my life in some way or even learning a second income? It literally costs more in every single way to be in that 50-50 relationship than it does to be on your own. And you might say, well, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, darling. If you want a husband, you're gonna have to settle or compromise in some way. Well, then I ask you, why isn't he compromising? Because it seems like the only thing that he's getting right now is everything. I would literally rather die alone than come home to a man who's left his dirty shoes on the floor. And if men think their personalities are enough,
my girlfriend and I got divorced at the same time, and while she found the second chance love of her life and was remarried, I would say less than 2 years later, and I did not. She is now negotiating with her husband to get his permission to go on a girls' trip. His permission. Meanwhile, I'm planning girls' trips all across the country without a permission slip. She's also discovering some somewhat unfavorable things about him that she says she didn't really notice in the beginning, like the fact that he tends to lie to her about his smoking, and he's called her some pretty horrific names in the heat of an argument. The other day she called me crying from her car because she didn't want to go home. Meanwhile, my home is my sanctuary, man-free and peaceful. Rushing into a second marriage quickly is not advised. Just start talking to women who have been married a second time. More importantly, women who have gone through divorce a second time.